But here's the real question. Why does it feel so wrong to even consider? Is it guilt, judgment, the fear of being labeled selfish? Or is it the cultural and societal expectations that tell us, especially as women, that our time really isn't ours? Let's talk about it. Do you take time for yourself? If not, what's stopping you? Welcome to You Can't Handle the Truth, where we dive into the real, raw truths about health, wellness, and self-growth. I am your real talk guru and your rebel healer, here to cut through the noise and dig deep into mental, physical, and spiritual health, uncovering the truths many aren't ready to confront. We're going to do that together. Hello, my name is Natalie, and welcome back to You Can't Handle the Truth. And today we are talking about getting time away. You know, you heard it. Let's do it. Let's see what our fellow rebelettes have to say. So one of them asks, do you ever just take time away for the weekend? Not for the purpose of going out and hooking up with anyone, just for your own personal space, downtime. If yes, what do you do and where do you go? Think about that, and I'm sure you've been thinking about it already. So let's see what they have to say here. Let's see what some of our fellow rebelettes have to say. So one of them says, not just the weekend. About 90% of my holidays are solo. Longest I've been away, 4 weeks, but I'm single, so I don't have any obligations. Once you get over the mental blocks of doing anything and everything solo, dining out, it's amazing. Aha. So yeah, this is great. I like that because, you know, so often I think there's an assumption that because you are over 40 or over 50, that you have a partner. And what if you don't? You know, you still need downtime. You still need to get away. You still need self-care, because when you're at home, you're still doing the regular schmegular things that you need to do every day. You're going to work. You're, you know, taking care of the everyday things. So you do need downtime. And sometimes you just want downtime alone, away from everyone, especially, even if you live alone, getting away to somewhere different can help lift your vibration. So that's a good point, though, that could feel challenging, though, right? That you might, if you go away, that you don't have anyone with you. And how does that feel? Are you okay in your skin? So she's like, it's something you have to get over. And I think as we get into our 40s, we start enjoying that downtime, but you have to cultivate the ability to do that a little bit at a time. Maybe you start by going to dinner at a restaurant all by yourself and just having dinner. Maybe you take yourself to the museum all by yourself before heading out and taking a whole weekend trip away all by yourself in a strange place, right? So someone else says, I want to so badly, but my husband is scared for my safety ever since I got assaulted a few years ago. He would rather I go with a friend, but I don't have any friends I want to go with and really just want solitude. I would love to rent a little cabin by a lake with a pool or a hot tub and fire pit. I would swim and fish, go into town and have coffee and people watch, cook a steak over the fire pit, roast marshmallows, and howl at the moon, sleep in late, drink coffee by the lake, maybe go antiquing. It's all I want. That sounds amazing, but personally, I think that sounds amazing in theory. And I'm gonna tell you why I said that. Maybe I watched too many movies. Maybe that's why my husband has me watch so many movies. Maybe he doesn't want me to go. I don't know. But you know, I saw this movie and there was this lady and she did this, that she was a younger girl. She just took a vacation. She had a boyfriend, but she was like, hey, I need to go write. I have writer's block. I need to go think. And she took a trip and she went on her own out in the country somewhere by a lake, and she got assaulted. And, you know, there is a safety concern for us women, right? About being alone, being without somebody, because it's almost like you feel like when you're by yourself, like you're more of a target, right? Because you just are. And if you have your guard down because you're relaxed and you in a situation where you're just going to relax, you're just ready for downtime, you don't want to worry about anything, right? But do you have to worry? And literally in this movie, somebody followed this woman. And I mean, I know it's probably rare, but you're going to somewhere remote where nobody else is, on a lake somewhere. Somebody followed her from a gas station. She stopped for gas. You got to stop for gas, right? And so, it's really, safety is a concern, right? I get that. Drop me a comment and let me know what you ladies think. And if you take vacations on your own. I took a vacation like that with my dog before he got really sick, renting a little trailer in the woods, and it was amazing. I really want to do it again. And some people do it, I don't know. Someone says all the time, in the winter, I get a cabin Airbnb for the weekend, make a fire, have some wine, and read. Bonus points if there's a hot tub in the summer. I find a cute trailer or Airbnb to rent, read in the sun, make some good food, watch a movie, hang out outside. I have my favorite quiet beaches I travel to and like to stay nearby so I can go for a few days as much as possible. Sometimes I go for a longer week-long beach vacation. I love little solo weekend trips close to home. That sounds amazing. That's something I haven't done. But my husband says all the time, oh, you should go. But he's like, you should go with your family. He says, you should go spend the weekend with your family. I'm like, that's not solo time. But, there's a safety fear. Maybe because we watch too many movies. Because obviously some of you ladies out there are doing this. You're going, and I commend you. Somebody says, F yes. And I didn't have the gumption to do this until recently, and I regret all the time I spent at home just to do what? Clean up after people? Go do the thing you love. Life is too short. The laundry, the dishes will still be there when you get back. My husband does not share some of my particular interests, and it took me until my early 40s to just say, screw this, I'm going anyway. But don't be like me. Go now. Well, yeah, because that's the thing, right? Because sometimes our spouses don't have the same interests that we want. We would love them to. And the fairy tale says that, we're going to do everything together. But it's not true. Anybody out there is married, that it's not true. You don't enjoy all this. You might enjoy some things together, but you don't enjoy the things he loves to do. Not all of them anyway. And he doesn't enjoy everything that you love to do. And so at some point we do need to pick up and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Right. And without making someone else, the other part is that we don't want to make someone else feel guilty for not doing what we want to do, but then we don't want someone else to stop us either from doing what we want to do. And I think it should be equal give and take. I think there should be open discussions about this, right? And it should be open. If there's some safety concerns, then as that one lady mentioned in here, and I was saying, that I saw in this movie, that I thought, I would think yeah, that's a safety concern. I don't know if I would go in the woods by myself, but you could actually maybe plan ahead of time to make sure that there was enough security around, that make sure it was a secure location where you feel safe, right? And so, it could even be a thing where now that I'm thinking of it, where if you had somewhere you wanted to go, that maybe so that you feel comfortable and your spouse feels comfortable, you could take a trip there together and decide what's the safest route, what's the best route for you to do this, and then go, because then he would be comfortable knowing where you are because he's been there, and then you could still get your downtime, right? It's pretty amazing, because I'm noticing too, for me, as I have gotten a little bit older. I'm not old. Don't call me old. As I've gotten a little bit older, I do value my downtime. And even if it's that now, sometimes downtime is just, putting my headset on and listening to part of a book. Right? If I feel like if I don't have the headset on, I might get interrupted. Then I take like that 20 minutes downtime time I need to just listen to a podcast, listen to a book. It's downtime. So I think yes, getting away is amazing, but that we also need to find like many ways to get that downtime just in our own space, where that downtime is not me like cleaning and doing that. Like it's me literally taking that downtime and saying, okay, I'm going to listen to this podcast for like 20 minutes and really give myself that time. Okay. Someone says, yes, I did it for the first time in my life at 60 in July. I live in the Pacific Northwest and rented a cabin in Hood Canal for 2 nights. It was heavenly. Someone else says, yes, I usually center it around an event, like a concert for a band I really want to see in another city. Other than that, I make sure I'm doing what I can to make the experience truly an escape, like going to the beach or getting an extra special room and view. Same for me, sister. Go see all the shows. Someone else says, I've done weekend trips alone and dinners alone. I hike alone regularly. I don't know why I stop myself at concerts. No one likes the same music I like. I want to see Chris Stapleton this summer. Maybe I'll go do that. Yeah. She was just saying she doesn't like to go to concerts alone. Concerts are kind of a weird thing, right? You could go alone, but there's always this vibe of like all these people in the room. And I think maybe part of not wanting to do that alone might be a safety concern that you have somebody else there, because you're at a concert in the dark and you don't know who's scoping you out. You just don't know. I don't know. Safety concerns either, also, and I'm sure people do it. And I'm not saying that it's not safe. It can be safe. You know what I mean? Like what safety feels like is different for everyone. So you have to be comfortable with what you're doing. Someone says, I sort of did. I went out of town for a family wedding and extended the trip for a few days to be on my own. Stayed at a different hotel. The wedding was on a resort. I couldn't afford a single on my own and did my own thing. Mostly sat at the beach or at the hotel pool. Was a bit lonely since I'm already introverted, socially awkward, but I kept to myself. If I went out to eat, but it was the first real trip I've taken on my own, and I loved how peaceful it was. Next time I'll choose a location that has a little more to do and see so I can explore, but I definitely like going to the beachy spots. Yeah, I think the beach is amazing, personally. And you don't even have to not everyone has to love getting in the water, but just being by the ocean is so soothing. The ocean waves, it's like white noise, right? Like it's so meditative and it replenishes you. And so I think beaches are fun. And, it could be a great way to spend time alone, because most of the time you're not going to the beach at nighttime, so it's during the day, and you see a lot of people walking with their dogs, and people are alone many times you'll see families, but depending on where you go, you'll see people alone at the beach. Around where I live an area that's not far from the beaches, and a lot of people are on the beach alone, walking, especially in the morning. Sunrise, watching the sunrise is amazing. So, yeah. Someone says, I love going to a slightly warmer place. Spain, Portugal. So it seems like there are a lot of women that do this. Drop me a comment and let me know. I used to do this once a year or so. A hotel during off season near walkable eateries and art. He traveled at least once a month for work, but every quarter he'd extend a trip to do the same, usually with a friend or relative. Before the pandemic, I don't know. Yeah, like I think first of all, if you are a couple or married, like, it's good to have like time apart, right? Because that helps you guys miss each other. And having that downtime, especially if you live a really hectic life where you're stressed, and it's really good to have alone time, and it's not something that I have done, but it's something that I would consider doing. It's something that I would consider doing. And I just thought it was really interesting when I saw this, and I wanted to talk about it because it's not something that I've done, and someone says when she was married and the kids were smaller, I used to think I needed a break from the kids. Turns out I actually needed to get away from my husband, so I made it permanent. Alrighty then. Well, I don't think that was the point, but sometimes if you're struggling in your relationship, sometimes you do need time away to think about what's happening, what you want, especially in your midlife crisis. It's not funny, but it just is what it is. We have, you hit midlife and you start to value different things. That's why it's so important to have those conversations about what you need, what the other person needs. Do you need downtime? Why do you need downtime? And not that you should have to explain yourself to anyone, but if you're together, they should understand and you should understand. And if it's something that you both agree on and can decide on how to do it so that everybody feels safe, then I think why not? And, but if you're just starting to want to get away because you want to get away from the person, sometimes we need downtime to think. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think though, and sometimes, she had small kids. And so sometimes you may not even realize, right, that you need time away from the person until you're away from them. But my suggestion would be that if you're taking trips and vacations, or even like mini weekends, or even a day, like you're going away for the day or doing something for yourself for the day. I mean, I don't go away overnight, like, and just go to the beach or anything like that. I have not done that. But sometimes I'll take a day and I'll go shopping. I'll go get my nails done. I'll take that time out, even if it means like I'm just, going to the shops locally, right? And I'm not buying anything. Sometimes that's time enough for me to clear myself and clear my mind, to be by myself and be alone. So there are, there are different ways to get that downtime. My husband on the weekends, he goes out on his own. He goes we have a mini farm, so he goes out and he does shopping for the animals, and he, I think for him that's a little bit of his downtime, and and sometimes we do it together and sometimes we don't. But I think to be clear, because it seems like there are different reasons why we may find that we need that downtime. Because she actually said here that once she got divorced, or once she left, her and her husband got separated, she didn't need that downtime. She didn't need to go away as much anymore. Well, that says a lot. So that's a whole different cup of tea and a whole different conversation that needs to happen. But I think in healthy relationships that we should be having those discussions, and there should be time away together. And then we should have downtime. And for every couple, sometimes I would never tell somebody, oh, you should take a weekend or you should take a week away from home, because social norms might dictate otherwise, that it's not okay to go away from home. That doesn't mean that you don't get downtime, right? Like I said, there are plenty of other ways to do that. You could be a shopping trip during the day, or it could be going for 2 or 3 hours to go get a massage or get your nails done on a Saturday. Like, that's downtime. And, it's kind of a romanticized way to do it, is to say, oh, I'm going to go away for the weekend. I'm going to sit by the lake and read a book. And yes, that works for many, I'm sure. But that might not work for all, and I don't want to make it seem here that we are saying that this is good for everyone, because it may not be, right? But I think we all need to find what works for us, what works. And especially if you are in a relationship, what works for us becomes what works for both of you, because you're in a relationship. That's just what it is. Like, you can't, if something's happening, like that one lady says in here, she mentioned that her husband was not comfortable because she had been assaulted before, and not comfortable, and she just goes like, I'm going. Well, that really doesn't take him into consideration, and that's part of what being a relationship is, that we have to take the other person that we have to take each other's needs into consideration, and make it work. And there's, like I said, there's plenty of ways of getting downtime without going away for a week. And it could be a vacation, like, you know what, I did get a vacation. A couple years ago, I took a vacation. It was my first one, and I haven't done it since. But we did a cousin's vacation, and I went away for a whole week with my cousins, and it was planned way ahead of time. My husband knew where I was going. He knew the area and all the things that I mentioned. And probably more comfortable for him knowing that I wasn't going to be by myself. And what was amazing about that trip is that even though we were together and we had time together, but we all had like our own space and were able to get some downtime away from each other. It was like, it was refreshing. It was a refreshing way to take a vacation away, get personal downtime, and then get downtime with family members that you might otherwise not get to spend time in that way with, right? Like, because in your 40s and 50s, typically, we're not doing girls trips, right? And we're married, we have kids, we have a lot of responsibilities. So in theory, it's a great idea to do those girls trips, but having girls trips where you can talk about things, family things, just joke, laugh about just everything with someone else, and then still within that trip having time for yourself, right? Where everybody's kind of has their own little thing that they're doing. So I don't know, drop me a comment down below. I just thought it was an interesting topic that I would bring up. It's not something that I think about all the time personally, but occasionally I'm like, I just need a break, right? And sometimes that break for me is just like, hey, I'm going shopping this weekend, or if shopping is too much, then I'm just gonna go relax, get my nails done, and go get that massage, right? Or call a girlfriend and just go have lunch and sip on a glass of wine. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on You Can't Handle the Truth. Let me know what you think about this. And until next time, you stay beautiful. All right? See you in the next one.